Hello, and welcome to episode number 81 of the Solo Gamer Podcast. Thanks to Taylor, I've not been fucking up the beginning of the show because he's been updating our little sheet every time.
Gotcha.
So I feel like I'm
buddy.
cheating a little bit now, but you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to ride with it. So that's all we're going to say about that. But welcome all.
You know what that means, right?
What does that mean?
That means, Taylor, you got to mess it up one of these episodes. So
See if
I feel like I have before, right? Yeah, that's a test.
Or he'd put it in right, and I thought it was wrong, and I still messed it up, even though he fixed it. That's also very possible. Gosh, it does really feel to me like I was just wishing everyone a safe weekend, and here we are again. It's Wednesday. As we brought up last week, it's our little flag in the middle of the week. We're halfway through, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Kyle, welcome back from the Bay Area, man. Sounds like you had an awesome trip, so we're pumped to hear about that. How was your week, man?
Yeah, it was great, dude. First time in San Francisco. So really just, I had an idea like the first day or two of what I was going to be doing. Had that all kind of planned out. And then the third day was just kind of like, well, let's just kind of see where I should go and, kind of talk to some of the locals and figure that out. But yeah, obviously, Golden Gate Bridge is beautiful. Got to spend some time out in Alcatraz as well. That was a really cool moment. Yeah, dude, it's just a really good time. I wish I had stayed a little bit longer though. I mean, the food was amazing. I mean, the first place I stopped at was already like some of the best food I've ever had in my life. And it was just like the first place that I decided to go. So I was just like, oh, this is what it's going to be like. And then everything else from that point on was pretty darn good anyways. But no, man, and I wish I had stayed a little bit longer because I'm like looking at my TikTok now and seeing all the people who, for the Super Bowl are out in the streets. I saw John Gruden like ran into a couple of other like, ex-coaches or players that he used to coach, and they're all out there to go see the Super Bowl. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like literally looking at this TikTok and I'm like, I was literally in that exact spot on that street, like literally yesterday. What the hell?
Could have run into John Gruden, man.
I know.
Dude, I would have freaked out.
The Gruden grinder.
Dude. And he seems like the type of guy that you could just walk up to and just, John!
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
He'd be so pumped. So, yeah, it was, dude, it was a really cool time, man. I think that place is so beautiful. The weather was nice. It was like 60 to 70 degrees the whole time, and took a couple ferries around in the Bay Area, and you can just kind of hop around and go to all the other nearby cities that you can see across the bay. And it's just a really, really good time. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. Have you been to San Francisco, Taylor?
No, I haven't actually. My uncle lives out there though. He doesn't live in like San Francisco proper. I think he's like more like San Jose, so like close by. But I've been meaning to go out there for like ever to like go hang out with him and see the sights. So a trip myself might be in order here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool town. There are so many things to do, so many attractions to see. It's a beautiful older town, at least for the West Coast. Like Kyle was saying, ton of great food. I went the second time I went there was super cool because I went to see Deftones at Cal Berkeley.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
They were
Nice.
playing at the like the amphitheater on campus at Cal. Which is cool because they're NorCal boys. They're from Sacramento.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool reason to go there and see them in their element on their kind of their home turf. So always great memories. I've had a lot of bad experiences. The only time I've ever seen like someone mugged was in San Francisco, and I have never been more inundated by homeless and or I don't know, like street urchins. They may not necessarily be homeless, but they're just hyper aggressive beggars and stuff.
Yeah.
And like they have they're bringing weird items up to you and trying to sell you shit and just and I'm sure that's one of those things where you have one experience and that's painted that way. And I'm sure plenty of people go to San Francisco and don't have that problem, but both times I've been there, it's been really, really bad, and I was kind of accosted by homeless people the whole time, almost the entire time we were there.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
So I don't know if I just got unlucky 2 times in a row, or if that's just kind of the way it is.
Or maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. I mean, there was definitely
It can go both ways.
There was moments where it was like uncomfortable and pretty gross. Like the streets were not clean. You had to kind of watch your step a little bit to make sure that you're not stepping in some sort of bodily fluid or something. But
yeah,
it wasn't the whole time. It wasn't like that. It's definitely like specific areas that you know, to be fair, you don't really know you're walking into it until you're in it.
Right. Yeah. If you don't know the area, for sure.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, pretty good experience. I spent most of my time out in the daytime, to be honest, not really walking around at night, more taking Ubers at nighttime. And really cool to take a Waymo. I've never been in a self-driving car before. That
Waymos
was really
are
cool.
dope, man.
I've never done that before. That looked insane, man.
Yeah, that car put me to sleep though, man. I thought I was at a spa for a second.
Dude, it's so nice. It's where me and Anna live is like right in the heart of Phoenix, like right by the airport, actually, like not too terribly far away. You can probably hear it in the background. There's like, we're close enough that like you can hear planes sometimes coming in.
I didn't remember exactly where you were. That helps me a lot. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we're like literally right there. And anyway, one of the reasons we like we're super excited to live here is that Waymo has kind of like an area of where they do their business, or like where they have their cars going, and it's all through this area, like up and down the streets, like Waymos everywhere. And I have definitely used it quite a bit in the last year or so, and it's so nice, dude.
It's so
like
cool.
Just being able to go to a bar. Like a friend of mine had his birthday party at like a bar in like uptown Phoenix, and I took a Waymo there, had a couple beers, took a Waymo back. It was a good time. I could just hook my Spotify up to it and not have to talk to anybody or deal with anything. So
I see. I should have done that.
Nice.
Because the standard music is definitely like spa music, and that
it's a
new age.
They can take a nap.
Dude,
yeah.
I've never slept so quickly in a car in my life, man.
Rainforest sounds.
Welcome to San Francisco.
No, that's literally. You actually kind of spot on hit the voice. That's what the lady sounds like when you get in, and then it starts playing this tranquil like music that I like. I literally sleep to this kind of music like every night.
Oh, I do too.
Oh my god! I was just like, dude, I am done here in about 2 minutes. If she doesn't change. It was so bad.
How does the Waymo wake you up if you fall asleep?
Yeah,
know,
right.
It was kind of cool though,
vigorously.
Like how you get into the vehicle is really cool. You got to push the button on your phone when you're there, and then you can see like the handle pops out, and then you grab the handle and open it up from there. And then it waits for you to like press the button to tell them that you're ready to go, and then it locks everything up and takes off, and it's just like really cool. Definitely a lot of potential there. I mean, it was surprising that it was more expensive than Uber though. I was
really
yeah.
Wow.
Uber was definitely everywhere I wanted to go. Uber was cheaper, but I wanted to try Waymo the one time, so I definitely paid for it then. But I'm like, you know,
that is
kind of
not the
confusing
case here.
Yeah, because
it sounds like it's cheaper in Phoenix, huh?
Way cheaper. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I took it from our apartment to the Phoenix Suns arena downtown for like a Suns game like a week and a half ago. It was probably about like a 4-mile drive, so like not really that long in the grand scheme of things, but it was like $10-12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just San Francisco, but that would have been like $30-40.
Could be like California law or something as well. Like
yeah, it might be
some kind of state
value add tax or something
regulation.
Which is surprising because I was talking to some of the locals there, and they were talking about how expensive it is to live there now, and he was telling me about how like in downtown San Francisco, and you know, granted, this downtown San Francisco is like it was built a long time ago, so a lot of the apartments and buildings, you know, they look kind of old and antique.
It's kind of like Seattle's kind of like that too. They're similarly aged towns,
and it's cool. It's got a lot of character. I really appreciate towns that are like that try to just try to keep it the way that it was, because you feel like you can feel the history there, you know. But at the same time, they are older buildings, and the prices that I hear, like some of those places, like in downtown San Francisco, like small little old buildings, they're like 11,000 a month for rent or something like that. It's like insane. And
Wild.
he was talking about how there's been a huge influx of really wealthy people because OpenAI is based out in San Francisco.
Yep.
So there's
Silicon
a lot of
Valley.
people. Yeah, they're making a lot of money, and there's a lot of competition for that area. And so, and not only is it 11,000 a month, but people are having to pay like a year's worth of rent ahead of time
just to secure one.
Yep, just to get locked in. So
That is wild.
pretty crazy to think about. And I'm sitting here complaining about $1,600 a month for like a 1-bedroom or something.
Yeah.
I know. Well, it's nuts that you can still do that in Seattle.
Yeah. You got to give Seattle credit because like here in the Wenatchee Valley, we're such a smaller town and rent's pretty much identical to
It
the Seattle
is.
area.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of work to make it more affordable over there.
There just needs to be, I've noticed driving around town here, there's a lot more apartment buildings and stuff being built everywhere you go, because the town is growing and there's just not enough places for people to live. So it's just driving the cost of rent. There's a little house a block away from our house. On our like usual dog walk, Kyle, after we cross the road and we go down through that orchard, there's that red house that's right on the canal. Like before you walk around the orchard on the other side of Birch Mountain.
Yeah.
That house was for rent and it was $2,600 a month. And this house is not like some nice place. It was fine enough. We would have happily lived there, but $2,600 a month.
Yeah.
Nuts.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Absolutely nuts. So yeah, it's getting bad. That was one of the things I loved about Phoenix when I first moved there. It was rent and everything was just way cheaper. I don't think that's really lasted though, right? Things have gotten more expensive there too, right?
No, thankfully, it did get really expensive. I would say from like 2018 to like 2023 or like 2024, rent just kind of like got out of control, and we're just kind of now, I think like 2024 and like 2025 kind of seen it stabilize or get a little bit cheaper. Like the place that we're in now, I think is arguably, I think it probably is like the nicest apartment I've ever lived in. We got this one for like a really, really good deal. And it's basically the same amount of money as I was paying for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in like North Phoenix. So, and we're like right in the middle of the action basically here. So, not bad. It's like $1,700 a month.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's on par. It's crazy. We're going to have to move here in the next year. So I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to find a place that we can afford. And I'm just hoping to find a place that has like a little backyard for the dogs.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really want. Just to let their ass out. Like just go out there.
I know, right?
Right. No, but I would, I'm sure there's some places that are just right outside. Cause gosh, I mean, San Francisco, Oakland, Alameda, so I went to Sausalito, it was beautiful. They're all just kind of bunched around the area, and you could take like a quick ferry that's like $5, which was crazy. And you could just hop over the bay and be over to San Francisco in about 15 minutes, no problem. So I'm like, I don't really see the point in living in San Francisco if you could just be there for $5, so there's a lot of little pretty towns that are just right outside San Francisco that I bet are way more affordable, and it'd be a cool area to stay at if I was a Niners fan, which I'm not. But
which you're not. Didn't you said you ran into more Seahawks fans than you did Niner fans, right? When you're wearing your
not
hoodie?
necessarily Seahawks fans, but actually Niner fans who were like kind of nice and were like, I did run into some Seahawks fans that were like, "Let's go Hawks," but. I ran into quite a few Niner fans who are like, go win the thing, man. We want you to win. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That either means the Niners are cooler. Yeah, that either means the Niners fans are a little bit cooler than I thought, or we just hate the Patriots that much.
Maybe it's just kind of a thing where it's like the closer you are in proximity to where the team actually is, the fans probably are bearable. Yeah. But like Arizona, man, I can't stand the Niners fans.
No, I think, and there's of course there's a difference between sort of the online presence. It's sort of like the difference between what video gaming culture is like online and what people in your personal life and run into are. Like you go and meet people, you meet people in real life who play video games, and bam, you're off. You're talking about whatever, you're talking about all kinds of stuff. And then you go online, and it's just like it just brings out the worst in everything and everyone.
Right.
And I definitely find Niner fans online to be maybe the worst group of fans that I've ever dealt with. And I've known a couple personal too that I like them outside of that, but they're pretty insufferable. If you start talking about football, but there's a rule that's a golden rule for any group of people, right? It's like there's going to be the worst of the worst, and there will be some perfectly normal, cool, chill people in any group. So
for sure.
And when you're in person and they're going to say something to your face, it's a little different. I mean, a Niners fan actually helped Alicia and I get into her car because she actually locked her in Seattle. She accidentally locked her keys in her car. We were going to a Seahawks game. It was the Saturday before, and she accidentally locked her keys in her car. And we had a Niners fan help us out. So it was just funny how those little like moments in life will come up. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely different in person, especially, when your team's already lost. I also think that kind of changes it. It's
yeah. 41-6 kind of a little cold water.
Silences it. Yeah.
Yeah. I also feel like it's just my attitude kind of changes. Once my team's out of the race, it's like, all right, the fight's over.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
Good luck. Yeah.
For sure. No, I totally get that. All right, so Kyle, you've been pretty busy this week, obviously. Probably not a ton of gaming happening. I see Divinity Original Sin still here. Did you play a little bit on the flight at all, or just have
tried to?
Not been a gaming week, I would assume.
Well, my flight there was at 6 a.m., and I like getting there early, so I left at like 2:30, 3 a.m. to go drop off my car, and then from the parking lot got a ride. So, and then I don't know what it is about going on flights, but it's not even that I'm like nervous about the flight. I'm just so antsy and can't really sleep the night before.
I get trip anxiety really badly.
Yeah. So it was like, I just couldn't sleep. I slept for maybe an hour and then had to head out. So that plane ride there, I was passed out for like most of that. And then.
How long was that flight? Not super long, I would think.
2 hours, 15 minutes. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
And then the way back, I would have done it, but it was a smaller plane, so they didn't have plugins. And one thing for sure is when you're playing games on the iPad, it eats the battery real fast, so you have to have it plugged in. So I didn't even try to bother with playing. As soon as I saw there was no plugins, I was like, nah, that's not. I'm gonna get like 30 minutes in, and
then you're just gonna kill it.
Yeah. So. But no, I did play a little bit of it today, getting a little bit further. I'm right at the end. I'm on the last like act essentially. It's getting pretty difficult now. I'm definitely running into more areas where I'm like, all right, I'm getting my ass kicked here. I gotta go move somewhere else and find some new gear, or level up or something. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with that game. Just kind of like, building and crafting and. Not crafting in the sense, but like putting together like specific builds and leveling things up. I'm just all about the kind of like the min-maxing in a sense. That part makes me really excited about games.
That's cool. It's cool that you can kind of just take that along with you and play it like that.
Yeah.
And get what you need out of it. What do you have anything coming up that you're wanting to start soon, or are you just kind of taking a breather?
Yeah, I mean, once football season's over, it's going to open up Sunday.
Yep. I actually have a very specific plan for that.
Nice. So I'm going to probably start. I got to finish Kingdom Come Deliverance. So I'm going to get that done.
Okay.
And then I'm probably thinking of Ghosts of Yotai would be the next one.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really
good stuff.
That'll be I'm excited. I'm going to be jealous. Like when you start playing that, I'm like, I want to play.
It's probably going to start a domino effect.
I
You
know,
guys
I
want
gotta
to
get-
play it after?
I gotta get to that one too.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
There's like a lot of backlog and stuff, and so the way I view it is like, what's the like out of the list? What's the one I'm most excited to play, and that's how I choose it. I don't care how long ago it came out.
Yeah.
how far back the backlog is. I'm choosing whatever one I want to play the most, and that's definitely Ghosts of Yotai.
Oh yeah.
Well, good. I'll be really excited to hear what some of your early thoughts are on that when you do jump into it. We'll see how much longer you have left in Kingdom Come. Yeah.
Yeah, probably got quite a bit, but that game's like always surprised me. I'm like, I feel like we're getting somewhere with this, and then it opens up like again, and I'm like, okay,
Oh yeah.
here we go.
Taylor, I see you've been playing World of Warcraft still, looks like.
Yeah,
Any
I've
updates there? You had a big update right after our show last week that you shared with everyone.
yeah. So not too terribly much of an update. I still haven't played through like the story content on my main to get into Midnight just yet. Like I've done like a quest kind of like here and there, but one of my favorite things that I love doing in World of Warcraft and really just kind of MMOs in general is I love creating a new character. Like I don't know, there's just something so fun about like like going through the leveling experience and like getting a character and like customizing it and like running through the dungeons and stuff at the lower levels. I think that's like one of my favorite experiences in games like that is just to start fresh and kind of have a blank slate that you can just play from there. So I created 2 new characters. So I made a monk, which a monk is like one of my favorite fantasy classes. Like I just love the idea of like hitting things with your fists and like punches and kicks and stuff like that. And the armor that they have for the monks in World of Warcraft look really, really cool. Like they're like pulsing green, like chakra looking armor with like dragons. It's all like very like Chinese, like inspired, like, armor and stuff like that. So it looks really, really cool. So I wanted to kind of create a monk and then like go through some of the old raids and collect some of the gear for it for transmog purposes. So I could just make my guy look like as cool as possible. Plus, the monk is like one of the few classes in World of Warcraft where you can actually do all 3 of the Holy Trinity. So you could do damage, tank, or healing. So I love the versatility of that class to kind of be able to like switch on the fly. And, if I want to go for Brewmaster, which is like the tank class, I could just kind of switch over to that one and do it pretty seamlessly. So, yeah, it's been a good time. And then I created a Death Knight, which is really, really cool. And that one I've been playing as a Blood spec, which is like their tanking spec. I love tanking in World of Warcraft. It's just so fun. So same thing there. A lot of the Death Knights have like really cool transmog sets with like skulls and like depending on your specialization, like some of them look like they're like chipped out of ice, like you've been frozen solid, like almost like Draugr type armor from Skyrim or something.
That's cool.
And your guy has this like cool like glowing blue eyes. He just looks like dead. And I made my guy like have like I made like in my own headcanon, my Death Knight is like the negative world version of my paladin. So he's like got like the same hair, but it's like white because he's like dead. And I even made my username, my paladin's username, but like flipped around. So you have kind of like a Dracula Alucard situation kind of going on there. So I've had a lot of fun playing him and going through and getting some old mounts and transmog sets. So I'll get back on track and actually play the story content at some point soon, but I'm having fun just like putting on a podcast and collecting new outfits and stuff, playing digital dress up.
So what exactly, what's a Death Knight do? What's their role? Is it I'm assuming like kind of like a vampire-esque like bruiser, like somebody that does a lot of lifesteal, or?
So yes, there's definitely part of that that's built into it. The Death Knights are they are risen heroes that were basically under the control of the Lich King. In the story, the Death Knights are created by the Lich King as like his like royal guard, essentially. So you have like heroes from like Warcraft's past that like die and then they get resurrected as like basically undead, and they start like a second life. And then there's kind of like it's a lot of lore to get into, but there's like an internal struggle between the Death Knights and the Lich King to like free themselves from his like power, because they're like all under the Lich King's control. So they end up, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Is that like so it's not like a class then, it's more of a like faction?
No, it's a class, but it also is a faction too. So
cool.
It's kind of like you are playing as like one of the like Lich King's risen soldiers who essentially like wins back their sentience and fights for like the Alliance or the Horde, depending on your like faction. So it's really, really cool. The story that's built into it is awesome. It's part of why Wrath of the Lich King is like my favorite expansion. It's just so good.
Do the classes in WoW work in a similar way as they do with ESO, in which every class can play every role in a different fashion?
No. So in World of Warcraft, it's a little bit more structured. So each class, some of the classes have the versatility to be able to do every single role. Like paladins have like a specialization for every role. So healing, tank, and damage, like they can do it all and switch between them like seamlessly. But then you have some classes like the hunter, which are like bow and arrow, kind of like archer classes, and they just strictly do damage. So you have some that can kind of do like two out of the three or 3 out of 3, and then there's a bunch of them that are like just strictly damage dealers, like warlock as another class that's like just all damage. So depending on like what specialization you do, they do different things damage wise depending on the specialization, but like yeah, like some of the classes are just all strictly damage.
That's cool though. Like it's got to make sense, right? Because it would be kind of weird if like an archer was like healing people. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Unless he was like shooting arrows of love or something.
Yeah, healing arrows.
Well, usually with like, because that's with ESO, it's you can just sort of mix and match. You still generally want to focus in on at least one or maybe two things. So you don't. Mm-hmm. There isn't like a class that you're going to make that will do all three well, but you can pick a class and then go down any of the pathways that you want. So you can pick a sorcerer and then level them up in heavy armor and dual-handed swords or two-handed weapons, and then also magic. Right? You can do however you want, and every ability can be stamina or it can be magicka. So you kind of have to, as you're going, decide how you do it. But you guys know you play ESO. But this is kind of cool to see the way that the different games approach classes and strategy and building, class building. I think that was always one of my favorite things about ESO, is I just constantly want to start a new character because it's just so many ways to put the Legos together,
right?
That make it so fun. Do you have an idea, Taylor, kind of like what your next big game you're going to jump into is? I know, of course, we're into February, so Resident Evil's around the corner. Are you just going to kind of wait for that, or
I
don't
know.
Something you're going to dive into?
I just, it's been kind of one of those things where it's like lately it's been a little nice to have as much plans as we've been having lately, because it just gets us out of the house and out of the monotony of the working from home kind of thing all the time and just never leaving. But I just, once the weekend kind of rolls around, like we've had plans really consistently. So I haven't been able to play like a ton of single player stuff, but yeah, I really want to get to Star Wars Outlaws here soon.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because I bought it on I think we mentioned this last episode or something maybe, but I bought it on like a deep sale like really recently, and I really, really wanted to get to that game. Like it sounds like a fun Star Wars game is kind of exactly what the doctor ordered per se, to just like have something and, have fun with it and just play something in the Star Wars universe for a while.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the next thing I'm going to get to. I just don't know when that's going to happen. So maybe this week, I think.
Well, I'll be excited to hear what you think of that because I also own that one. It's definitely on the old backlog, but
Yeah.
I've never really known. I don't know where to put it. Like where how excited I should be to play it. I've watched a lot of people review it, and including some of the videos that came out. Oh, what's it like to play in 2025? Those kinds of
Yeah.
videos. And it's still just as divisive. There's still people who really like it, and there's still people who think it's not great at all, and so I've just been kind of hesitant. And I've got so many other games I want to play, so it's kind of on the back burner, but it's still in there, and it does sound like fun. Just kind of an easy open world Star Wars game, which there really aren't any of those.
Yeah, right. I know that's part of the interest for me wanting to play it too, is like we just haven't really ever gotten that kind of Star Wars experience just yet. So I think it'd be cool. I think I'm also going into it with like the right expectations. Like I know it's not going to be like The Last of Us Part 2 or something, in terms of the story. So
For sure.
I'm excited to just kind of get into a popcorn type game where I can just kind of play it and have fun with it. And, it's probably going to be like 15 to 20 hours or something too. So I can probably get through it fairly quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool. I will be very eagerly awaiting your thoughts on that one.
By the way, I like just pulling up Steam while we're talking and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Divinity has a sale going on, 75% off.
Oh yeah, Matt pointed that out actually. I think in our Discord, he was
Yeah.
Divinity's on sale.
I saw that.
Nice,
Which
nice,
is cool.
That'd be one I'd like to get to at some point too.
Definitely recommend it. Now's a good time to buy it. It's like, dude, what, $11?
Yeah, that would be a good time to jump in. I think I'd be more interested in jumping in if I didn't have Baldur's Gate to still play.
I know, right?
Because I think that's the thing for me. Is like, well, if I'm gonna play a game like that, I want to play it.
Well, I will say it's not as cumbersome as Baldur's Gate, though.
I know it's not as cumbersome.
I get what you're saying.
It's just kind of like with the time spent. Regardless, if I'm going to spend as much time as I would in Divinity, I think I'd prefer to start by spending that time in Baldur's Gate and finish.
Oh
it.
yeah,
yeah. It might as well be with an undisputed game of the year,
right? Yeah, apparently one of the greatest games of all time, like kind of a thing. It's what it seems like. So
I might get the first Divinity because they've got an enhanced edition. Sorry, I don't want to get too sidetracked.
No, you're good. I played some of the first one, and
I did too.
I didn't really catch on to it, but I don't think I gave it enough of a shot either. I own it.
I'm sure
I
it's
just
fine.
need to go back to
Turn
it.
based. It doesn't need to be super graphically enhanced either.
No,
So
definitely not at all. I jumped around on lots of stuff this week, so I'll be quick. I wanted to prepare for our episode, so I jumped back into Oblivion for a little while. That I had a really good couple hours with this week. Had a lot of fun. I have a relatively fresh character that's in the early stages of the main quest, so knocked down a couple of Oblivion gates and rode around on my horse and saved Martin Septim and all that good stuff. So just got my full set of blades, armor, and sword and shield and everything, which is kind of cool because it's a decent set of armor for early game, which is cool.
yeah, it is, and it looks cool.
Looks cool. And I'm such a dork about this stuff. Like whether it's ESO or Skyrim or Oblivion, like I don't like finding out ways to get super advanced armors really early in the game or whatever, because there's no level. You don't have to. You can wear anything, and at any level. But I like the natural feeling of progression as my character gets more powerful and delves through more dungeons and fights more powerful enemies and all that I get better weapons and better and cooler gear. It's like I had some opportunity to like in the quest where you're running around in Kavash and you're looking for the dead, or I guess you don't know he's dead yet, but you're looking for the count or whatever whatever the duke or whatever the name, the people, whatever they call the positions of the people who are like in charge of each city,
Yeah.
and you go and find his signet ring or whatever. During that part, you have some Imperial Legionnaires that join you, and if they die, you could get a full set of Imperial Legionnaire armor. And like, I purposely didn't take it because I was like thinking of my like this. I've got this noble sort of knight hospitaller who knows how to use restoration magic and heals others, and it can heal wounds, and he fights for the gods and all this stuff. And then he's like, this Legionnaire dies. He's like, give me your fucking armor. Pulling it off this corpse, you know? It's just
now that he's dead.
He's not in the Legionnaire, you know, he's not in the Legion or anything. But the cool thing is you go to Cloud Ruler Temple and they literally say to you, hey, go into the East Wing if you need weapons and armors, and we make you a blade. So you are a member of the Blades. They offer the armor to you. It's like, all right, this one feels earned through the story, so I'll put that on. And so it's cool. It's cool to run around and play that. So that's been cool. I love that game. Haven't played it in a long time, other than the little bit that I played when they first dropped it back in April. So it's been fun. And then I started a new Fallout 4 character. I just kind of wanted to just jump in and play a couple hours of all the games and just kind of get ready for this. I was going to play Starfield, and I opened it up, and my Xbox was like, this requires a 20.1 gigabyte update. I was like, what? What have you been updating? There's not even any new content.
Right. Probably to fix something. Fix something broken.
Fixing broken stuff, and it's maybe, I don't know if I wouldn't imagine that the stuff.
Yeah, but then by fixing it, they put in patch notes that like create another problem.
Right.
And it makes the game worse.
Breaks a different game in the catalog.
Fallout 4.
Yeah.
They keep breaking Fallout 4. I have not had any issues, so that's good. But it's been okay. It's been fun. I'll keep playing them all. I probably won't keep playing them all. One thing I did want to. I hadn't finished the game yet this year. I was like, I should do that. So I did jump really quickly. Like 2 nights ago, I had some time, and I jumped back into Sword of the Sea, and I finished it.
Oh, nice!
Cool. Really, really, really good. It only took me like 3 hours and 40 minutes or something like that total playtime.
Nice.
The last time I had played it was on Christmas Day. Just so fun. I cannot recommend that game enough. Absolutely beautiful. Super, super fun to play. You can just lose time into it. It's simple and really satisfying and pretty, and it's got beautiful music. Pretty. Just incredible art direction, so original and it's distinct, and I don't even want to say there's a story. There's like a nod to this world that you're in. You can find these stones that have writings, and they sort of have these, I don't know, Beowulf style poems on them. Just as far as like, you can tell that it's talking about the history of this world, but it's written in a way that's kind of limericky and
like an epic.
Yeah. And there's like 4 or 5 lines for each one, and they just kind of give you an idea of kind of what you're looking at. But that's it. There's really no story outside of a couple of cutscenes, and there's no dialogue at all. But the music, it's the same composer that did their other games, Journey and Abzu. So really like piano heavy and lots of strings and choir. Just gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to listen to. It's like if you had a stressful day, I cannot recommend this game enough. It is zero stress. Like, it doesn't punish you for doing anything wrong. It's very well designed, intuitive, where to go and what to do. Just a really, really great game. Like, probably I'm surprised that it wasn't up for anything at the Game Awards. I don't know if it was or not, but I don't remember seeing anything for it. And
I don't remember seeing it either.
Kind of blown away by that, actually, because it was just, I thought it was phenomenal. So
that was just because Claire Obscure was just winning everything.
Yeah, but I don't even remember seeing it nominated for anything either.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Like, even, sort of like getting into the playoffs, like, it still means you getting nominated is still a pretty big deal. So I don't know why. And there may have been, I just missed it, but
yeah.
yeah, I jumped into Skyrim today for probably truly 45 minutes to an hour and a half, something like that, just to play it. I jumped into my relatively high level main character save. I think it's like level 35 or something. So not crazy high. I just don't know what to do with that character. Like, go look for dragons.
Weren't you planning on getting like all the achievements in
I'm close.
Skyrim?
I'm close to, man. Like, if let me see here. Really,
I was gonna say, I remember you bringing that up several episodes back or something like that.
As it's one of those things where I'm close, but every time I go look at it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that I haven't done these ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look it up in a little bit. But yeah, I part of me really wants to, just because I am as close as I am, and I've put enough time into the game. It's like, but it's like all the stuff that would really I have to really go to another level.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure I want to do that, but I'll look it up at some point here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's all I've been playing, just kind of bouncing around. My plan is to I'm pretty sure my brother has my copy of Forbidden West. You know what's so annoying too? It's my fault. It's all my fault for not doing the research, but I thought I remember like most of the PS5 exclusives that are at least a year or two old are on the kind of like PlayStation's version of Game Pass, like whatever level of PS Plus gets you can just download them. There's like Essential, which is the lowest level, Extra,
and there's
which
classics,
is the second
right?
level. There's classics. Those are only available on the premium.
Right.
Which is the highest one. But I was like, oh, well, I don't have my copy of Horizon, but I really want to spend more time on my PlayStation. I want to get my money's worth out of that console. I really haven't. Other than playing like Last of Us Part 2 and Last of Us Part 1. Like, that's it. That's like all I've played on it pretty much. So I was like, I really want to do this. I want to I really want to get into that. So this year is my goal is just beat a lot of these PlayStation games. And so I was like, I'm going to start with Forbidden West. I've been in the mood for it. I loved the first game, and I don't have the disc. I was like, but I'm sitting here and I've already paid for the service. I think if I upgrade, I could probably beat it in a month or two and then just reduce back down.
Yeah.
Because that's what you can do with Xbox. Oh, I'm an idiot. I need to read a little bit more than I did. Horizon Forbidden West is like one of the only PS5 exclusives that's not on there.
Oh, shit.
What?
Apparently, they just recently took it off. So I feel a little vindicated because it's like I do remember seeing it on there, but apparently with Horizon, I guess, did they do the remaster? Did the remaster come out of Zero Dawn?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Which is like, whoa, it's so stupid. That game did not need a remaster. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, but you know PlayStation now.
Yeah, they did. God, that's weird to me. Okay, so yeah, so there is a remaster. So I bet like when that came out, it came out in October of last year, October 31st.
Yeah.
So when that came, maybe they took it off of there because they knew people would be buying Zero Dawn, and then they wanted them to buy Forbidden West if they liked it, I guess. So that sucks. And so then I was like, well, screw it. I'll just go cancel it then. And it's like, well, you've paid the difference between now and your yearly payment. So I've paid for it and I have it now until August.
Yeah, I do that as well.
It didn't cost me very much, so it's not a big deal. But it's so annoying because with Xbox, with Game Pass, you can it's month to month all the time.
Right.
So I could have just canceled it and they would have given me my money back, or it would have just paid. I would have gotten the 1 month and it would have been over at the end of this month. But no, not with, apparently it's annual only. So I just paid, $20 something for nothing. But
brutal.
Really frustrating. Don't love that, but it's also my fault for not really looking into it very closely. So, Let's get into our topic today, gentlemen. We got some huge write-ins from all three of our write-ins were like
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. They're the biggest write-ins.
Wow, what a write-in. Lengthy and verbose as they are.
Nobody's ever seen write-ins this big.
I do
Many
like the
such
write-ins
cases.
a little bit younger.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Topical.
Fuck that guy. All right, so Mtrox78, Matt, he wrote in. So I'm gonna kind of, I did read through them slightly, and there's different things that we want to get to. So, but actually, before I read Matt's write-in, there's a couple different ways we can do this. I actually might switch what I'm starting with because I think the first thing we'll start with, because we were saying everything Bethesda, right? So let's talk a little bit about our experience with them in our earliest memories of their games and what they mean to us. And then we wanted to rant about Starfield, and then we want to talk about Elder Scrolls 6. So we got a lot to cover here, and we're already like 45 minutes into this thing. So we'll get started. So let's I'm gonna start with Craig's actually, because he does talk a little bit about Oblivion on launch day. So he does have some other things, but that'll be a good starting point for us. So he has a few pointers first. His first pointer is Elder Scrolls 6 will probably be mid at best, but I will still play the hell out of it because I love the world of Elder Scrolls so much. Totally agree with that. It's like one of my favorite fantasy universes ever. 2, he said Starfield was so boring. It's insane how uninteresting everything about the game was. Such a shame because it had so much potential. So that's perfect. He's going to set us up for later. Very much agree with that statement. 3, my first ever experience with Bethesda was watching my dad pick up Oblivion on launch day. I remember he told me it was at least 100 hours long, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Then I was sad he wouldn't let me play it because he thought it was inappropriate, which is funny because I was already doing fatalities in Mortal Kombat for years by then. I also would like to just give a shout out to God Howard. I think Todd is too ambitious for his own good. He often shoots for the moon and lands among the stars, but that's led to some of the most fun gaming experiences I've ever had, except for Starfield, sadly.
Yeah.
I want to read a little bit of Miles as well. And Miles, you killed it with the write-in here, man. There's a lot going on here.
Boy.
Keyboard was on fire.
Yeah, keyboard was on fire. I'm gonna kind of break years up a little bit here. So his first part, Miles starts out. He says, "Starting with Skyrim feels like a natural beginning to the conversation. I played it on PC, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Alexa. Outside of the Halo games, Skyrim defined the majority of my gaming life since I first played it in 2012. I've had countless playthroughs, an unbelievable amount of hours sank into the game. The game has influenced me philosophically. I think about Parthenax and his moral questions. I think about Sirana and her suffering between her identity and her destiny, and I think of little moments in between. Whatever is over that next hill is something waiting to be seen, to be known, discovered once again. Another question left to breathe a little more life into the world." So that's the beginning of his write-in. We're going to read more of his write-in later. But I just kind of wanted to get everyone's sort of starting point. Matt just wrote in to just bitch about Starfield, so we're going to get to him later.
Plenty of time for that.
Don't worry, Matt. We're there with you.
Yes, we are. Though I don't know. We'll see where that conversation takes us. But I wanted to start with those because those are kind of the first topic, or the first experiences, if you will, we have. Kyle, what is your first experience with Bethesda Game Studios? Like one of their games early on. Some of this we might have a little bit of crossover with our conversation we had in our Unk Slop episode. So obviously, if it's a story, like I'm not going to go over the story about getting Oblivion again. But just like, what are some of your earliest memories with a BGS game?
I think it definitely. Started with Oblivion. When I was younger, I think the first time I was introduced to it, I watched my longtime friend Jared play Oblivion quite a bit. From that point, I had never seen a game quite like that. I know obviously Morrowind had been out, but I had never heard of it, but I just never really seen a game quite quite like that. And I think the first time I started watching him play it was like early on in the campaign because he was at the arena. And it's just like the arena is just like such a memorable time period. It's honestly, I know that there's like so much that's great about the game, but it's like when I think about Oblivion and Bethesda games, I think about the arena. That's like the first thing that comes to my head. I know it's just basic. The story's not like really complex, but there's something about that like introduction of it. And I just thought it was so cool to be like a gladiator in that game. But yeah, that was my first introduction to it. And then I think I started messing around with Morrowind when I started hanging out with you more, Ian, because I think that's when you were like, oh, have you seen Morrowind? Have you tried that out? Morrowind is a little bit, at that point in time, I wasn't really too experienced with RPGs yet, and so I feel like Morrowind was a bit too advanced for me. It was kind of confusing. Yeah. So I struggled with that one, but definitely Oblivion was where I really kind of hit the ground running and really fell in love with that genre in general. They really kind of defined a lane in gaming.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny you bring up the fact you bring up the arena and Oblivion, and I just like I can't help but think about just all of the limited, at the time it never bothered me. It doesn't even bother me now. You know, it's part of the game's charm. Just the limited number of voice actors.
Yeah.
And how every like white human was Wesley, I can't think of his last, Wes something. I can't think of his last name. The same voice actor. And he was also like the announcer for the arena. And I think I will have the little thing that he says after you win like memorized for, so like it's something like Victor from the blue team. Leave the arena now and rest. You've earned it. Like, how many times have I listened to that man say that line over
just
and
not
over
even close to being tired of it yet.
No, it's just crazy, man. Like it just, that's like a part of my, it's like that, those, some of his lines are like written into my soul. I've heard them so many times. Yeah, I feel like Oblivion's a pretty common answer for most people our age. Taylor, how about you, man? Like what's some of your earliest memories with BGS?
Yeah, for sure. Same as you guys. I definitely, Oblivion was my first experience with anything, Bethesda related. So I remember I got into it a little bit later than I think everybody else. Like I actually got into Oblivion, I think in the lead up to Skyrim coming out. I have a friend who was like super big into Bethesda games and was a real hardcore like RPG game fan. And I remember hanging out with him at his dad's house, and he was super excited about Skyrim, and he was like, "Did you ever play Oblivion?" And I was like, said no. And so it was kind of like one of those things where I was like spending the night at his house, and he like we ended up playing it that night, like creating like a new character and just kind of switching off and playing around with it. So it was really, really cool because I felt like I had got in like right at the lead up. I feel like there's a lot of things in my life like that where like the new big thing is coming out and it feels really nice to be included on the conversation and get there like right as the hype is kind of reaching a little bit of a groundswell. So like I feel like this year like that might be like Grand Theft Auto for me, like as an off topic aside, but
that's funny you say that.
So yeah, Oblivion definitely is where it all started. I loved making my good, lawful good character paladin that I would play. That's where I fell in love with the Bretons as a race as well. Like anytime I make a character that's kind of like my self-insert paladin, it's almost always a Breton spell sword paladin type guy. So yeah, I have a lot of fond memories of Oblivion, and it's been really cool to revisit that with the remaster because it's just so well done. So
it really is. It's gorgeous. It's fun to that's what it looked like in my mind in 2006 when I first played it too.
Yeah, so many parts in that remaster too where it's just like I've already like stopped to kind of admire like how good it looks. Like I remember there's one It's whenever you're fending off the attack at the church or whatever, and you have to deal with the giant like crocodile looking guys.
Oh, the
As like
Daedroth or whatever.
yeah, as like the city is getting attacked, but like there's a lot of really cool like set pieces in that part of the story where it's like you're in a dungeon with like a long dark hallway and the only thing you can see is a torch light that's like kind of like reflecting off of the cave wall. And like, man, there's so many cool like dark fantasy artistic touches and flares in the remaster that I think makes it look so cool.
Yeah, they did a great job with that. Do you think we won't get off on this tangent too much, but do you think they're going to do the same thing with Skyrim, even though they've released it so many times?
I hope so. I think that would be really cool, but I think it would facilitate, I don't know, like maybe working on a new engine, perhaps.
Well, I mean, but with Oblivion, it's just running the graphics through Unreal on top of the original game.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's probably I mean, if they did the exact same thing where they did Unreal graphical engine, everything's totally redone visually, but it's the same game underneath.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would do the same thing.
I bet they would.
If it's not necessary. I don't know.
Be cool. I'd play it.
I'd be down, dude. I was just playing Skyrim for like a minute, and I was like, I kind of want to play this. I kind of want to play Skyrim.
I know, right?
I gotta let my cats out really quick. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know what it is. As many games as I have to play, I'll think of a game that I just love, and just be like, I kind of just want to play that again.
I know.
I really wanted to play Cyberpunk again the other day, and then playing Skyrim and Oblivion. I'm like, God, I could just play these freaking things forever.
Yeah, I've got to play another playthrough of Cyberpunk. That's for sure.
Yeah, I want to play another. Definitely want to do another playthrough of Cyberpunk. In fact, I want to get your thoughts on some of that later, maybe at the end of the show, but depending on how long we go. Yeah, for me, BGS. I had a really good buddy who lived down the street from me, and he was the one he had an Xbox first, and he introduced me to Halo. He introduced me to Knights of the Old Republic, and he introduced me to Morrowind. Because I just had a 64, and I was playing all these incredible games at his house, or he'd bring his Xbox up to my house and we'd play. And then, of course, eventually I got my own. And Morrowind was always one where I didn't really want to play when I saw him. I just liked watching him because he was pretty far in, at least from my perspective. And I just remember thinking how beautiful the music was and how mysterious. I'd never seen a game like that. There was just this huge open world, and you're just and this mysterious. It's foggy. The water I remember being blown away by what the water looked like, which is funny. And the mushroom trees and Vivek and like all of this, like Vivek City and everything. Like it was just so weird. And we would read all of the lore and stuff, because in that game, of course, there's not a lot of vocal dialogue. It's you just go up and talk to someone and they say like a word, and then it's just text, right? You're just reading through the text. But we would get super into it. We would like take turns reading that stuff out loud, and he was starting to get into the lore, and I watched him play through a lot of the game. And then once I got my own Xbox, I wanted to play, but I had never played anything like that. And I probably played Morrowind for 50 plus hours over the course of my original Xbox lifespan before the 360 came out. And I don't think I ever made it past like level 10 on any character. Like I just restarted and restarted and restarted. I just loved the beginning. I loved going to Seyda and walking to Balmora and starting the Hilalu quest line, or starting and then I would get kind of stuck, because the game doesn't really guide you very much, so you can kind of start a quest line that's a little bit too difficult for your character, and then you just don't really know what to do from there. And stuff like that. It was just a little over my head, but I really knew like I was attracted to something about the world and the the style of the game. And then when Oblivion was announced, I feel like that was almost my true first BGS game, because I obviously played that like crazy and beat all of it and just fell in love with it. And I've always wanted. That was actually, I don't know if you ever listened, Taylor. I don't know if you listened to the bucket list episode, but I think one of my bucket list items was to go back and play through pretty much all of Morrowind someday, if I can just make it, if I can just kind of force my way through kind of the early stages that are a little tough. Lucas got really obsessed with Morrowind, and he took off and played it like crazy. And
he really liked Morrowind. I remember that.
He was super advanced. I remember he showed me that he killed this guy, and he realized that if you could put all of your stuff into this house, like into the basement, and the game wouldn't delete it, even with saves. So he'd go into the basement, and his frames would drop down to like 8 frames a second, because he's got all of his like piles of armor and all this gold. He had like a bank vault full of he would drop all of his gold coins in there, and he's like this. He just had this red guard that was just like mega wealthy, and he was always wearing fancy clothes, and it was the most Lucas character ever. So it's cool. It's like lots of great memories with that. One thing I realized about Bethesda Game Studios is like I kind of credit them with my early interest in the gaming industry as well. Before them, I never really understood or thought about who developed what. Like video games were just there. Like I didn't know, some company made it, I guess. Like I just didn't even really think about it. But when Oblivion came out, and it was like that was like the first time I remember being marketed to as like from the creators of Morrowind, right? And that meant something to me. And that was the first time I remember being like, oh. And then they started. There was it was the first like E3 presentation that I ever watched, and they did the live demo with Todd Howard and Pete Hines.
Pete Hines, yeah.
They were doing, and it was like the first time I ever saw an E3 demo that just absolutely blew my mind, and was just that was like the first game. And then I started to like, what is E3 all about? And then YouTube started getting going, and you could watch all the E3 stuff like that. So that was sort of like their games are kind of the bridge into understanding that these development teams are kind of like your favorite movie director. You know, it's like you're going to start following these people that are making your games because you know that they make games that you like.
Right.
And
yeah, that's true. They definitely, now that I think about it too, like Todd Howard is like one of those like industry figures too, that it's just like that you can call out, right? Like there's like these really prolific players like in our space who like create games and direct them and are kind of the creative forces of that. And I feel like he's probably on like the Mount Rushmore for at least one of the more famous, you know, studio directors or creative leads that's out there, you know?
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody more famous.
Yeah. You think of like Kojima and, you know,
Kojima, too. Miyamoto, Mario,
Miyamoto.
Zelda, you know, not Zelda, Mario. I think, did he do Zelda too? He did Zelda as well, right?
He did Zelda, yeah.
Yeah. So he's up there for sure. Ken Levine.
You got to put Druckmann up there.
Ken Levine, yeah. Druckmann.
Oh, Neil Druckmann for sure. Yeah. So there's already a few right there.
Yeah.
I just can't think of anybody like that's more out in the open and up front than Todd is.
Yeah. Todd, I would say Todd and Kojima are probably on their own. As far as to your point of being seen, like, and understood as individuals. I think you're right. I think it's pretty much those two.
Miyazaki too.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
From Software.
He's not quite as. He's like a legendary. He's like that guy. That FromSoft is like Tool.
Yeah,
like, look,
that's a good way to describe
they're
it.
Better than all these other guys. You just don't get
right.
It.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But you don't see him. You don't see him as often either, too.
But it's like it's like as conceited as that is. It's also kind of true.
Right. Yeah.
They really are that great. So that's what I've always thought about them for making the analogies. But so that's kind of I mean, obviously we've talked about our midnight release stories and all of that stuff as well. With them. Yeah, I can't think of like a. I remember I was working at Hollywood when Fallout 3 came out, and I'm just like, that was when I got hired at Hollywood because I wrote video game reviews in Word. A little 1-page reviews, and I print them all out, and I gave them to the manager there, and he's like, "This is awesome! Like, as soon as you turn 17 or whatever it was, come see me."
Yeah.
And he lived up to his word. He hired me.
That's so cool.
As soon as I was able. That was awesome. So yeah, so just like lots of I really like feel like I grew up with them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I was personally so late to Fallout.
Yeah, me too.
It's just
Took
one
me
of
to
those.
Fallout 4.
It's kind of like who you know, when did it happen? Who were you with? Like, what were other people playing? I think you were like a super multiplayer guy at that time.
Yeah, that did take up a lot of the space for me.
This came out in 2008, so you would have been what, like?
I also just felt like, I don't know, for some reason,
something like that.
Yeah, for some reason during that time period, like if I was going to play RPGs, it was mostly like kind of fantasy based. I don't know why. I feel like the aesthetic and the look of the game didn't really hit for me.
You talking about Fallout?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't really appreciate it that way.
Well, maybe we'll get into like a Fallout section at some point too. But I'm still, even to this day,
right now,
not like a massive Fallout guy. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's all there is to really say about it. Is that I'm not the biggest Fallout fan for some reason. Like, the universe has never really spoken to me that much.
I've grown to like it.
I felt the same way
more in time.
Yeah.
I think there's like a weird delay, Kyle, for us.
Oh, okay. But yeah, same for me. It was kind of like it took me a while to get on, and then I played Fallout 4, and I really kind of enjoyed it and kind of understood the universe a little bit more. I don't know what it was, but there was something about the what do they call it? The vats, where you get to like, so I don't know why that always kind of bothered me when I was younger. I didn't like that it was too heavy, like RPG, and I was like, well, this is a shooter though. Like,
yeah, I had a difficulty with overcoming VATS too. Like, there was something in my mind that just did not compute when it came to that.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought it slowed the game down to the point where it felt more like a turn-based game rather than like an action game, which was fine. Like, I kind of understand being older now and looking back in retrospect, like, it's probably one of the few ways that you can make an RPG work like that. Especially when you think about where Fallout comes from as like a series with like that, isometric top-down sort of RPG.
Yeah.
Like, that was their way of kind of making it work in a 3D space. It just wasn't as interesting to me. There was something about it, like,
I mean, thankfully
you
can get away with not using it, so it doesn't really overall affect the game to me. It's like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, this didn't need to be here, But a lot of people love it though. At the same
Fallout
time,
4, the shooting was a lot better, and the VATS is not quite as necessary. Fallout 3 was a horrible shooter, and VATS was like required.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Fallout 3 is unplayable as just a straight up first person shooter. It's not good. Like that, it's all about VATS.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the same way. I didn't really get into Fallout in the beginning. It's definitely grown on me in time. I think as I've grown up and I'm like a little bit more interested in like Americana and like the 50s. I'm more familiar with the tropes of the time period, and I've grown to really appreciate the music from that time. And I love Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack, and like and just like the show. I haven't seen all of it, but I love the what I've seen. I love the show Mad Men, and like the suits and the cigarettes and the whiskey glasses and the Art Deco. Like, all of that stuff is like, I just feel like I didn't have a touch point for all of what it was trying to do when I was younger. And now that I do, it like works a little bit more for me, right? It's like sort of this cool idea of like it's almost like what would happen if the Cold War had turned into not the Cold War, right? It's like kind of a cool alternate history, and they play with it more than that because obviously in the world of Fallout they discovered nuclear fusion around that time, and so technology advanced, but from a perspective of the way it looks and sounds and the sort of the like era is very much what would, you know, basically if the US and the USSR had shot nukes at each other in the late 50s, right? Like that's kind of the baseline feel for the game, and I just feel like I have a much greater appreciation for that now. And I Fallout 3 is one that really I went back and played it many years later. I think like right before Fallout 4
lose him, Kyle?
Yeah. He's coming back.
Oh, I lost you guys. You guys were frozen. Uh-oh.
I think the audio.
I have an idea.
Cut out.
1 second.
We can see you saying something.
Yeah.
Anyways, where were we?
I was like, I can smile and nod for a little bit longer, but
at some point it just feels smirking. So I was like, oh, he's getting the same.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I don't know. Fallout never really hit me as much.
That's
I guess
that makes me like not want to play Fallout 3 now unless they like remaster it. Because if it's like,
apparently it sounds like that's on the way.
I hope so.
I think that they've been talking about a remaster for like ever now. I think people were saying like they wanted to hop on it with the show coming out to kind of be like kind of a dual release for season 2. But yeah, apparently it's being worked on, and I think that there's rumors that they might do the same thing they did with the Oblivion remaster and just kind of drop it out of nowhere. But who really knows, you know?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down to play it then. Because I definitely need more of the shooter elements to it. That's kind of what I enjoyed about Fallout 4. I basically just never used VATS in Fallout 4. I don't like turning it into a turn-based type game. It feels like it kind of gets out of its element at that point. But I do understand, you know, the origination of it. You know what it comes from when you play that that top-down, you know, turn-based strategy type game. You know, when you're playing a shooter, it's very useful to be able to select where you're shooting and which body part. That's something that's really prevalent in XCOM, and I really enjoy using that because at that point it's already turn-based. The game's already slow, so it makes sense to kind of pinpoint where you're shooting in that way.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, if Fallout 3 is mostly like that, I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to wait until it gets remastered. Then, if that's the case.
Well, if they do the same remaster that they did with Oblivion, you'll still need VATS because shooting in Fallout 3 was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I tried
to.
to
I can deal with it.
Oh, it's so good. I don't know. It's kind of like bullet time. It's the way I always seen it. All this slow motion, it like follows the bullet.
Yeah,
their head explodes, and
it's definitely bullet time. It's definitely not as bad as when I first played it, because I did remember like picking up Fallout 3 like not long after it came out. Like I want to say like 3 or 4 years after it came out, and I like absolutely hated it. Now with the context of like New Vegas and Fallout 4 and stuff added in there, I think I could go back to it and probably find things that I liked about it. But
I'm holding off for the remaster, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. My problems with Fallout, though, never really stemmed too much from the gameplay nowadays. It's more so just like, I don't know. It's one of those universes where I know we've talked about this before, Ian. Like, we have this like issue with like certain series where they like, I don't feel like they take themselves seriously enough. And Fallout's always kind of been one of those ones where I'm like, I wish they played it a little bit more straight-laced and less like wacky, zany, like... And, you know, I understand that that's kind of part of the charm, but like I almost wish Fallout was kind of like Metro, you know, like it took itself like a little bit more serious, maybe even had a little bit of like a horror bend to it. It's like, I don't know why, it's never really appealed to me that much.
It definitely rides that line. I don't think it's never crossed the line like some of the other games we've talked about that go way too far in that direction.
Yeah, that's why I can't play Borderlands.
Yes,
Yeah.
Borderlands is a good one.
For sure.
What's the one that we were discussing when we were the Outer Worlds. I have a hard time with the Outer Worlds because of that. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's too silly.
Yeah, I don't know why. I like the Outer Worlds a lot more for some reason. Even though it's like it's a very similar tone, but I don't know why the sci-fi like universe of the Outer Worlds
Space
fits a lot better
exploration.
with the zany, wacky kind of thing that they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that just comes down to personal taste too. You know, it's all just about. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what they do with the future of Fallout. Obviously, that's so far away at this point because it takes them 9,000 years to make a game.
Yeah, we'll definitely
course,
rant about that.
We'll get into that. Before we get into that, of course, there's Skyrim, which I think was the top of their game, and we'll get into this. A lot of people would not agree with that. I think I don't know. Have you guys noticed it's kind of become popular to diss Skyrim now?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I noticed like 2019 to 2020, I noticed like a reversal on the Skyrim like hype train.
Like,
I think people seem to. Well, I mean, to be fair, the thing is like re-released like a million times for every console, so I think it kind of depends on when it came onto the scene for that person, right? That does matter because you have to think contextually of like when this game came out. Because like like if you're thinking about playing Skyrim, this is the first time you ever heard of it, and you're playing it now. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to try to compare it to other games, it's not that great, but I think you have to like kind of put it during its timepiece of when it came out to really understand it. And I think also there's also the backlash of, I think everybody's pretty fed up with Bethesda. So
I think too that they almost had kind of a Creed effect too. Like it was like overexposed for like a really long time. And I think you were right, Kyle. You're onto something that like the constant remasters did not do it any favors. I think that got to a point where people were just kind of sick of hearing about it. Like anytime they released a new version of it after the special edition, I think like the special edition was like people were legitimately kind of excited for that. And then every other like release that happened since then, I feel like people just kind of rolled their eyes and it kind of became a little too overexposed. It was like hearing Nickelback on the radio for like
I was gonna say,
time.
dude, that's so funny you said that because I was like in my head, you started referencing music, and I'm like, is Skyrim the Nickelback of video games?
Dude, I mean,
but I think the difference is that Nickelback doesn't hold up that well. There's so much product at that time. Like you hear Nickelback and you're like, oh, that's 2004, and they're stuck. They're stuck in that time. They will never. Sound like they're not from 2004. Whereas like Skyrim, sure. I mean, if you play it next to Cyberpunk, like, it's been, or Witcher or whatever, but like, I think it holds up pretty well. From my experience,
I agree.
What I've noticed is people kind of like changing their mind on it and being like, actually, it's like the worst between Oblivion and Morrowind. It's like the worst of all of them. And and I don't know that it's better than those either, but I feel like it's just kind of become popular to be like, did you know that Skyrim isn't actually very good? Yes, it is. What are we talking about here? Like,
well, I think
tentpole game.
I think people conflate the main story quest line not being as good with the whole game is not as good too.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So it's kind of sucks because it's one of those things too where it's like, like the whole package, awesome. But if you're just talking about the main story, I feel like the consensus is that it's probably one of the least interesting main stories in any of the Bethesda games. I think it's probably still better than Fallout 4, but
which came after, and that's the thing. It's like Oblivion Morrowind and Oblivion were like their best written games. It feels like the storylines and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of technical stuff that could be better. And then Skyrim came out, and obviously it had lots of bugs too, but it felt better to play. It was their prettiest game by far. It was their most streamlined, accessible. I mean, it's their best-selling game for a reason.
Yeah.
And then and Fallout 3 had also come out between Oblivion and it's crazy. They just pumped games out. 02, 06, 08, 11, and then 15. They released 5 games between 2002 and 2015.
Yeah.
And I feel like Skyrim and Fallout 4 were like when they still had enough of the same people there to like, they knew how to make a really interesting open world that you wanted to explore, but you could start to see the writing on the wall with the, no pun intended, with the writing itself. Like the questing and just like the setup and the plot and the faction quest and all that's like, all of those were just felt like a little bit less interesting than they did in Fallout 3 and Oblivion and Morrowind. And then it's like, it kind of, you can kind of see the Starfield coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that maybe that plays into it where when you look at, which we'll get into Starfield, but when you look at Starfield and the writing and how the game kind of plays, I think you can draw a lot of similarities between it and Skyrim. It just feels like there was not much improvement, which is crazy because there was a lot of years in between those games.
Yeah. It's like Skyrim was their, like, the last time they really raised their ceiling from a technical level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they never really left there. Fallout 4 is just kind of Fallout Skyrim.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, maybe that's what makes people look back and go, Skyrim wasn't that good because it's so closely related to Starfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've now had 3 games that are both hundreds of hours each. All 3 of them are hundreds of hours each. So by the time you're done with Starfield, if you put a lot of time into it, you're like, I feel like I've played. You can like see behind the curtains, and like it's like I can tell that Bethesda made this.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like you shouldn't really feel that way in a negative instance. I don't feel like if you were to play, if someone who didn't know much about developers, if you had somebody play 3 hours of Witcher 3 and 3 hours of Cyberpunk 2077, I doubt they would ever guess that they were the same developers.
Right.
Like they really pushed themselves to go down different pathways and try new things. And it just feels like they kind of stopped trying. Not that they didn't work hard on the games, but it's like, it feels like, to go back to the music thing, it's like, well, we found our sound and we're sticking to it. Because we don't want to like rock the boat.
Yeah.
And make people mad by changing too much.
Yeah.
It
didn't change the damn thing. Yeah.
No.
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I bet you when Elder Scrolls 6 releases, the public sentiment will reverse on Skyrim. Like I think
go back to loving it.
I think it will be a full complete circle of like it being like a cultural phenomenon, dipping down to people thinking it's overrated, and then coming back up again once we see Elder Scrolls 6.
It'll have to be pretty stellar.
You'll see a lot of people say that. And that's assuming that Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to be that great or like mid at best. Which,
well, we'll get into that because I have some thoughts on that too. I don't know. There's so much to say about Starfield. So I'm going to read Matt's write-in. But maybe actually, you know what? Miles really got into like the details of Skyrim here, on how much he loves Skyrim. He's talking about the DLCs. That's one thing I think Bethesda's always been excellent at, is DLC. Like a lot of their DLCs are so good. Like all the DLCs for Skyrim were really good. One of the reasons I want to play Fallout 4 again is because I didn't play very many. And I heard the one is really good. The
Far Harbor.
Far Harbor. I heard that's like
great. I've heard that's good too.
I really want to play that. And then of course you had like I can't remember the name, like actual names of course you had the Fire and Hearth or whatever it was. Hearthfire. Yeah, you got to make your houses, and then you
Dragonborn.
had Dawnguard.
Dawnguard
was great. And then with Oblivion, with Shivering Isles, was so good. And Knights of the Nine. I mean, they have great DLCs, which I'll definitely give them that. Lots of great expansions. Because that's kind of what Miles goes to write on, is about the Forgotten Vale and the Chantry of Ariel, and like that huge lake, the frozen lake where the dragon is coming out of the water and then back down into the ice. Just like a lot of really memorable moments. I love. This is really random. I love snow in games.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love a snowy environment. In Skyrim, obviously, the combo of pine tree forests and like kind of wind whipped, snowy plains is just top tier. I love running around Skyrim. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention that Miles kind of goes into some great detail about what makes Skyrim's world really interesting and beautiful to explore. And then he gets into Elder Scrolls 6, so we'll come back to the rest of his write-in. Mtruck78, Matt, he writes in, he says, I was on the Starfield hype train when they started showing more off. Me too, man. He says, I know a lot of people were nervous when No Man's Sky had a lot of pushback from the general populace, it being a very similar type of space game. The several date pushes I was okay with, but then the bugs reared their ugly heads. It got so bad that entire quest lines came to a halt. The UI was not user-friendly. I remember trying to figure out how to navigate some of the different menus, and I honestly just gave up. I started giving it another go sometime last year when you guys thought of maybe doing an experience point for it. My first playthrough when it came out, and again when I picked it back up, I got sucked into the shooter gameplay. The gunplay felt good, and the audio was crisp. TTK is my one gripe. I understand it's sci-fi and there could be advancements in defensive technology, but when I'm shooting a guy with a pretty strong gun and he isn't going down for a while, it can be frustrating. I will say very quickly, they did release the ability to alter how much damage is being done, and you can change how much damage your character does at a base level no matter what gun you're using. So if you want to make it a little more like quote-unquote realistic, you can turn your damage way up, and then you can turn your damage enemies do. You can turn that way up, and you can make it more of a realistic shooter if you kind of don't want to worry about that. When I'm shooting a guy with a pretty strong gun and he isn't going down for a while, it can be frustrating. What I played of the main story thus far has really struggled to hook me in like previous Bethesda games. I think I might have gotten a spoiler or two, but the story further on down the road also seems interesting. But when I heard it was like, really? Okay, I guess. That's exactly how I felt when the big twist happened. He said, I know I felt the same way when you guys briefly discussed it, how the planets feel empty or copy-pasted. I honestly think the modding community has done an amazing job. Once again, it just sucks that Bethesda seems to use this as a crutch. So there's a lot there.
Perfectly said. Yeah. What a great way to end it, too.
Yeah, he nailed it on all of those things. Let's talk about Starfield, you guys. Kyle, you and I were really ready for this game. I think... Didn't we both take a couple days off of work?
Yeah, man.
We both.
I can't remember the last time I was this hyped for a game.
Yeah,
it's probably my. It's easily my most favorite game that never was.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the last time I was that pumped for a game.
Cyberpunk was that for me.
Yeah.
But that was earlier. Like I think Starfield is the last one that was like that.
There's just something about the art style, the look and feel of it. I love the like classic like NASA like kind of menus and look, and like the way that the spacesuits are very, kind of grounded and realistic.
I like that too.
Yeah, I love everything about this game. And so, yeah, Ian and I were just head over heels with this game before it ever came out. Riley too.
Yep, my nephew.
Yeah, and then your brother had made us all sweaters, and I still have that sweater. I mean,
Riley made us those sweaters.
Oh, Riley, that's right. Yeah.
He was so excited. So my brother and sister-in-law at one point had a business where they sold clothing and had a gift shop and stuff here in Wenatchee. And so they had all of the screen printing tech. And before the game came out, we were so excited that my nephew Riley went to his parents' shop and grabbed 3 hoodies and grabbed images. I've worn it before. I think I wore it last week, actually. He's like the little
with the logo.
the little logo on the front chest and then a little logo thing on the back. And he made us these hoodies like as like a surprise gift on the day
those
that
are
the
cool.
game came out.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's got a funny, because he feels the same way. Like all of us were like, I think what sucks about it is like I almost wish it was just horrible. Like I kind of wish I hated it like thoroughly, but the fact that it was like the true definition of mediocre, or as my nephew's generation would say, and I completely love, mid. Like
Yeah.
the word mid could be replaced with Starfield.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. Like it is like objectively not bad. It's just
I mean, it's just enough to not be in trouble. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like the whole mission was. That's what it feels like the whole crew was working towards, was just creating a game that was unoffensive, wasn't very creative, didn't try for anything new, just stood, it just stood by its basic code of what a Bethesda game is and nothing more. I mean, even to the point where, to me, I think this game is just so much like Skyrim, it kind of pisses me off. Like the story, right?
Without
Starborn.
any of the like feel
Yeah.
and wonder and mystery.
I mean, the main character
That's really the killer for me.
The Starborn thing is just too closely related to Dragonborn. I'm sorry. You got to come up with a different name. You have to know that was too closely related. And then the added effect of when you become Starborn, you have this new extra special magical powers that you can learn and grow in.
Dude.
And I'm like, okay, now you've lost me, because now we're talking about magic, and I thought this was science. I'm a little confused.
Well, and you could make the case like in a vacuum without knowing the mechanic of the game. You could make the case that's like that. The idea of a game that's very grounded in science, like sci-fi, right? But kind of hard sci-fi, like that. Very NASA punk. It was always their term for the art style and like the way they wanted it to feel. Love that. I'm fine with all that. And the idea I remember seeing like in the trailers and stuff, it was like they were kind of nodding to the fact that you and your group of the people that you're with in this are going to be the first humans to find an ancient alien civilization or something. Like you always hear in Mass Effect, it was like all these, a couple 100 years ago or 100 years ago or whatever, humans discovered the first Prothean ruin on Mars, right? But you're like living in a world where that's no longer mystical and new and like life changing and world changing. It's like part of the everyday, right? So what I was excited about was the idea that you would be like this group of space explorers that were going to be the first to discover proof of advanced alien life or something. And I thought that was what a cool idea.
Very cool.
Kind of
and
Star Trek like.
Yeah.
More about the wonder than the military fighting stuff.
Yeah. And that by nature has a hint or an element of magic, right? Because it's like when you're dealing with an advanced technology that you don't understand, when you don't understand, it feels kind of like magic. And so I love the idea of like a grounded, like you said, NASA punk game that is very, grounded in realism and science, but then has that hint of like kind of awe and kind of magical feeling, because you're dealing with something that's just nobody understands what this is. It's something that's so bizarre and like ancient, and it's been around for a while. And so, there's that magical element to it. I like that, but I'm sorry, I'm not buying these magical powers. I'm not doing it.
Well, they're so lame and useless.
Yeah, that was always my big thing with it. Is it just the powers never felt like satisfying, or it's not like I could have rationalized it maybe as like almost like a Mass Effect type thing, like you are the first humans to realize you could use the biotic abilities and whatnot, but the biotic abilities are way more fucking cool and interesting than anything you do in Starfield.
Oh,
so
they suck in Starfield. Well, and the thing for me, so there's a couple of moments. There's like 2 moments in the game when I was playing for the first time where I realized like, oh no. And that was, it's like the first time you discover one of those, the first time you discover the source of power, where you're like flying through that area and following the little lights and stuff, and then it does the big, I don't know, glowy thing, and then you've like learned a power. I was like, oh wow, that was super cool. Like I can't wait to see what comes out of this. And then when you went to the second one and you realized, oh, these are literally just the dragon walls from Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to these at all. There's like no, we're not going to get anything else out of this. And then of course later you find out that there are no aliens, that it's just the first time you get hailed. So the second moment that I had that like took me down to realize this game was not good, or not going to be a very special game, was the first time you talk to, I guess, the Starborn.
Oh man.
And there's like, I think about, I just played through the original Mass Effect again. Like I beat it a couple weeks ago or whatever. And like, we've talked about this probably 5 times on this show. That first conversation that you have on Vermeer with Sovereign.
Yeah.
Like the way that is written and the momentous like waves of like the scale of this story. And you're like, you could never have even imagined what you're in store for as you're speaking with this being. And like, even when I'm playing a video game, and even just a couple weeks ago, I've played through that first game 25 times probably. And I still get chills from that conversation.
Yeah.
And then you play Starfield and the Starborn guy's like, hey you, stop it. Stop following us around. We're the Starborn and you gotta stop, okay? And I was like,
oh my God. Yeah.
What the fuck? This is like, it was like, I'd never been more disappointed
That was jarring.
in my
I
whole
do remember
life.
that.
Yeah.
You just need to go away.
You just took it right out of me, man. I was literally gonna say, I'm like, if you need any evidence of like how mid this game is, go and play Mass Effect 1, get to that scene, and then immediately go and play and go play Starfield and get to that scene and tell me if you notice a difference, or just YouTube that shit. But tell me if you notice a difference.
Just YouTube it.
Because like, it's so true, man. Because like, just up to that point, there was still enough of like kind of a mystery of what these sources of power were and what was happening, and what are these mysterious ships that are suddenly appearing, and these idiot advanced invisible guys who want to just apparently try and guard these sources of power one at a time for me to just shotgun them in the face and kill them. But like
spawning in the same exact spot,
spawning in
every
the same
single time.
Yeah, you just knew what was going to happen every time you go to one. Like, at least there was still a little bit of mystery that I was kind of clinging on to, of like, this could be cool still. Like, I'm curious what's going to happen. And yeah, in that moment when you have the first conversation with like the angry little spaceman, that was really hard.
Angry
like
spaceman.
Ever since then, and then I hadn't even seen some of the other horrible writing yet. I hadn't even looked at the Crimson.
Well, you've
fleet.
Oh, you haven't?
But, no,
oh,
I have.
dude,
I have. I meant at that point, I was super disappointed.
You were just scratching the surface.
I didn't even know how bad it would get writing-wise.
Jesus Christ. This has got to be one of the worst quest lines I've ever played in my life. Like, I know that the game overall is mid, but this quest line with the Crimson Fleet is so bad. It's so bad.
Good concept, too.
Yeah, great concept. It starts off hot. I mean, I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah,
I'm down for this.
I'm an undercover government agent being sent in to infiltrate this fleet of pirates and like destroy them from the inside. Like, what a cool,
especially
faction setup.
Yeah, and especially like depending on, because the cool thing about this game, or at least specifically with that quest line, is there's different ways to fall into that quest line, which is really cool. The way it happened for me the first time naturally is I got caught stealing something. And so then I was sent into prison. And at this point, they basically give you a choice. They're like, well, you know, you're going to go to jail for a long time and, you know, pay all these huge fines, or, you know, we know that you have like a specific skill set. You're pretty good. Like, you can help us out and, you know, bust the Crimson Fleet.
Become an informant.
You know, yeah. And it's just like the way that worked. I was like, that's really cool how it introduced me to this quest line. And like, then I was totally bought in and I went for it. And boy, was I disappointed. I mean, I've never seen like a dumber villain in my life.
They're all like complete idiots.
Yeah.
Have you played this quest line, Taylor?
No. I was kind of thinking about what was my stopping point to where I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. I think it was quite literally like you mentioned, Ian, that like once the whole Starborn thing opens up, and I think that interaction was like where I was like, all right, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it.
If I could make a request just for pure amusement, play that. Please play that quest line.
At least part of it. At least like
part
a little
of it.
bit of the beginning.
Because it's funny how bad it is.
Yeah.
Ugh,
They're kind of like, I feel like they tried to go for, I actually haven't played this game, but the famous main primary villain from Far Cry 3.
No.
You know, the guy was
Foz, I
like,
think.
do you know the definition of insanity or whatever?
Yeah.
And like, he's like legitimately crazy, but it's dangerous and it works for that character. Whereas like, it's like they were kind of going for that, but this guy's apparently like this leader of these really effective, dangerous pirates, and he's just a fucking rube. It's amazing. Like, it's just like I'm just wandering around like, wow, you guys just let me right on in here and just destroy everything, no problem. Like, amazing.
Not only is he an idiot, but apparently their previous leaders were absolute idiots. I mean, when you listen to the tapes of, I forget the name of the guy, the head honcho that they view as like a god in the Crimson Fleet. You listen to the tapes, I'm like, this guy's an idiot too. How did they make this? Like, how did they get this far? Like, I'm sitting here thinking the UC doesn't need my help at all. I mean, these guys are horrible.
Yeah. They're so bad. It's really, really, really bad.
The commentary of like the way that so this is what irritates me. It feels like whoever was writing this was like writing like that classic like kind of 90s like sitcom of a like bully in high school or something, you know? It just feels really dumb. And the only time that they're actually mean is when they'll like start kind of like bantering with each other, and then eventually the main boss guy is like, all right, that's enough, everybody shut up, you know?
Right.
That's what their ideal of like what a villain is. Like, that's what it pretty much was that guy who's just mean for no reason, but then doesn't actually back up any of it.
All these empty threats. Yeah, it's like, if you betray me, I'll kill you. And then your character's like, okay.
Yeah, like, I will literally
quite
murder
clearly
everybody.
betraying you.
Yeah, just meanwhile, I'm just betraying him the whole time. Like, there's just no... Yeah, it's
the way horrendous. You get into the gang is like way too easy. It's like totally flawed conceptually. Like, the idea of like, oh, go kill that guy. And so then you go onto the ship and you help him to escape. And then you just return back to the lady and said, I killed him. And she doesn't investigate it or nothing.
She's like, good,
cool, come on in.
No. What?
I don't.
Yeah.
You're in now.
It's amazing. It felt rushed. It just felt like they had to come up with something, right? They had to come up with some reason, some way, somehow. Like, let's just get it done. Doesn't matter. It just didn't feel like BGS, you know. So there's a few things I will say quickly that just before we move on, and I want you guys to get any other final thoughts on Starfield you have as well. There is some moments that I really, really enjoyed. I do think the gunplay is phenomenal. It's very fun. Some of the true role playing aspects are really cool. When I joined the UC and the shipbuilding, I built like a ship that was UC colored and was just armed to the teeth. It was slow and kind of like a military. And I was like this sort of UC operative that had taken down the stupid Crimson idiots. And then I was like flying across the galaxy and hunting down the enemies. And I thought the UC quest line was okay.
Yeah.
There was some, at least some really memorable moments that kind of threw like some sci-fi horror in there, which I
Yeah.
thought was fun. And I got a really badass set of armor, UC armor, and the gun and stuff. So like I had like a good feel for my character and like the role play of being this kind of like, I don't know, this UC operative that just was super dangerous. And I like some of the characters as well. Like some of the characters that were with you, some of them are awful, but I felt like a few of the main characters that can be on your crew were somewhat interesting, and the relationships you could develop with them were cool. I thought some of the personal quest lines for those characters were pretty good. That kind of took like a page out of Mass Effect 2's book with like the loyalty missions.
Yeah.
And I liked that idea. I'm running out. I mean, those are kind of the shipbuilding,
The crew stuff was cool. Like being able to ship build and add more to your crew, and then hire agents to like join your crew who had special skill sets. They didn't go far enough into depth, and I think that's kind of the underlying issue with the entire game is like really cool ideas across the board,
right?
But you really didn't dive into any of them.
No.
They're all surface level, you know. I love the shipbuilding. The base building is really bad. I mean, there's no continuity there, and there's not a whole lot of customization.
Or real
you can't really change.
To do it.
No, not really. But I mean, the idea of having like
with their base building, man,
they really are.
Yeah,
Fallout 4 ruined them with the base building stuff.
Yeah, and the idea of having like an intergalactic, like multiple space stations or stuff like that. I mean, that in theory is cool, but then you have to think about, okay, but why are we allowing this to happen in the game? What's the purpose of this? What's the end game other than just having a base?
Well, and you have to like dump hard-earned skill points to build a base anywhere that I want to build it. Like I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to build like a cool little outpost on this rocky moon that has this glorious view of this giant planet in the skybox. And it was like, oh, you need to learn how to like deep space construct. And I went to like the skill line for building outposts, and it's like way down there. Like you have to like just dump so many skill points into it. And I'm like, I'm trying to like this. What? I just want to build a base. Yeah. It's so weird restrictions.
Just added
skill lines.
I think you just added too many features. You try to do too many things at once. Just do a couple of things really well. We don't need base building in this game. We didn't need the science field of like scanning animals. Completely useless. Yeah, I think in theory is cool. Yeah. All of that stuff is just like, okay,
we didn't need so many planets.
Yeah, trim the fat a little bit and just really
give us
focus
like
on a couple
4
things.
to 5 solid, crafted ones.
Yeah, because I remember we discussed like Skyrim was starting to show a little bit of the writing chop issues with them, but despite the fact that some of the quest lines weren't quite as interesting or well written as Oblivion or Fallout 3, it took place in one continuous world on Skyrim, and they could rely on the incredible depth of like Elder Scrolls lore, and you could go from one place to another, and it was just like wandering around in Skyrim is awesome. Like even now. And you don't get that. Like that's the only thing BGS has been good at across all their games. Like even Fallout 3, you don't even have to really like VATS or the gameplay, but if you just walk around, you're going to find all kinds of cool, interesting stuff. And that's not possible in Starfield. It like removed like what makes their games fun, even when they aren't at BGS like best level.
Yeah,
they're still have that moment, and you just do not get that with Starfield.
That's ultimately why the game falls flat for me. I mean, I think that's what I go in for every Bethesda Game Studios game is I want really, really good exploration, and I want to be rewarded for my curiosity. I always felt that was something that they did really, really well. It's one of the reasons why I like all of their games. I have, close to 100 hours, and, it's just, I love that ability to just pick a direction and walk in a straight line, and I know I'm going to hit 4 or 5 points of interest that are going to lead me into some really, really cool stuff. And just like, there's only so much you can take of going to the same barren planet and, picking a direction on the horizon to head to, and you just go to some NASA base that looks exactly the same as all the other ones that came before it,
I remember when I first got my ship upgraded enough to go to the very farthest system, I was like, I can't wait to see. Like, there's no way they didn't put something really interesting on the farthest planet out, right? The absolute farthest system, all the way out there. I remember going all the way out there. I'm like, I'm going to be the first to, because they're all about exploring, right? Explore, explore, explore.
Yeah.
This is what we do, is we explore new things. And I remember flying, that's just before I was totally down on the game, all the way out there. And I landed and I got out of my ship, and there was like a oil refinery thing right there and a ship flying in the sky above me. I was like, oh.
It couldn't even give me that.
Okay. So everything has been discovered and built on already. So there is no exploration.
That's the problem with the procedurally generated stuff, is it doesn't know those rules, which is pretty sad. You think that they would adjust those sort of things if you're going to create that type of game. It's just like, I'm just thinking like, there's just so many things wrong with that. Yeah, I not thinking about that idea. Not to mention there was clearly only like maybe 5 different types of cave dungeons that were put in
over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I would travel to one remote planet, find a cave, and then travel to another remote planet, and it's literally
same map,
the same exact map
with like the mining equipment in there, and like
I was gonna say it's always like a NASA base with a hole in the ground. That's like you get to the bottom of the giant hole that they dug in the ground, and then it takes you back up.
So it's like you gave it like 5 inputs of like different types of caves, and then you're like, all right, now generate that across the whole galaxy. It's like, no, nobody asked for that.
No, it's just so strange because of the way they presented the game, and like you're going to be this like Star Trek style, like go to the new frontier and discover things for humanity. It was like, oh no, sorry, we already found this one, kid. Like, oh,
better luck next time.
Okay. All right, let's wrap it up with a little talk about Elder Scrolls 6, and then we'll log off here. I am going to read the last of Miles' right in here. So he says, Skyrim means a lot to me, and that's what worries me so much about the Elder Scrolls 6. Hammerfell, High Rock, both, or somewhere else. I'm afraid that Bethesda Games has lost its way. I worry that Spectacle has overtaken what made Elder Scrolls magical. I worry it's no longer about making a world that will tell you its story through context and clues, but about making a game with no hard truths at all, just vague answers and the idea of exploration. That's what Starfield was to me. It was just a chance for us to go, quote unquote, discover the past, but the past didn't feel lost. It didn't feel important. It just felt like suggestions of events. There was no intrigue, no deeper question, and no discovery. I'm low on hope for Elder Scrolls 6. Sorry for the long rant, but it really does mean a lot to me. Skyrim is a huge part of me, and my love for what will probably never go away. I'm trying to keep my expectations low in hopes that I won't be disappointed, but I worry that there won't even be anything worth being disappointed over after the many missteps of Bethesda recently.
Well said, man.
And that's it. Everybody have a good night.
That's it. Yeah. All right, we're done. Yeah, I think it's going to be better than Starfield, just for the nature of what it is. It's not saying that much that it's going to be better than Starfield. Like I'm not saying it's going to be one of the great games of all time, but it's going to be one contiguous map with lots of stuff in it that you can run around on, and there's going to be lots of lore from the Elder Scrolls on there, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Like at the very least, it will have that tapestry that it's going to be built on a much stronger foundation than Starfield.
Yeah, because Starfield, everything was new, right? So
right, and nothing was very good.
I guess when I think of it in that way, you are right. There's a lot less ground for them to cover, so they have to focus more on like putting more content in individual spaces and maybe more handcrafting it. They can't just copy and paste here in this situation.
Yeah, I see
they
them
already
doing.
Have the base. Sorry, they already have the base level idea of like understanding the Elder Scrolls universe, right? So a lot of things to like kind of jumpstart off of, so it's not as much work for them. Because that's what concerns me at the end of the day. Is I don't want to say lazy, but maybe complacency. Like
that's a good.
I mean, I just don't expect a lot of work to get done. I don't. I don't have a lot of faith in it. So it definitely makes me feel better that they have a shorter path to run to finish the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the way to go with Elder Scrolls 6 is to make. I almost think I could foresee them doing kind of a thing where they don't really make it like an open world type game. I could kind of see them doing zones that are like densely packed with things to do in them. I feel like something you brought up a little bit ago, Kyle, kind of resonated with me in the fact that like I feel like their scope has gotten a little bit out of control. It's a lot of making a really big game and doing a lot of different things, as many possible things as we can fit into this game as possible, that I could almost see them taking a step back and being like, what if we made an Elder Scrolls game that instead of was a wide open space with a bunch of things to do, and we just made it a little bit more cordoned off, a little bit more zone based, and just packed those zones with a bunch of really cool stuff that we can handcraft and do things with. Almost like I know it's kind of a like bad comparison, but almost like what I would imagine like a really well designed zone world would be like an Avowed, but with just more things to do and a little bit more of an alive, NPCs walking around like on schedules and things like that. Like I could almost see them doing that kind of thing with Elder Scrolls 6 rather than making it like an open world a la like Skyrim,
Yeah,
almost as a response to that, like as a lesson learned,
Yeah, I'm of the mindset of like if they start talking about, this is bigger than ever before, I'm like, this is going to be bad. Once they start talking about creating more and making it bigger, and I'm like, no, dude, you're just not getting it. Like, that's not what we wanted. And at this point, we don't trust you with bigger. I mean, I remember them touting about how Atlantis, it's Atlantis, right? The main city in Starfield.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. The one that's like on the island, or not the island, but the like oil rig type thing in the middle of the ocean.
No, it's like
New Atlantis.
the main
New Atlantis.
New Atlantis. Yeah, it's the main city in the very beginning. But anyways, I remember them talking about this is the largest city that we've ever made, and it was so boring and empty. I mean, like,
God, just fucking jogging around that city.
Yeah,
it takes forever to get anywhere. It's so poorly designed.
Yeah.
And then can we stop with the, shop owners only having $5 and you can only sell 2 items and then you have to go to the other shop, and I'm like,
wait 24 hours.
Oh man, I'm so
restock.
It's just like, so when they say like this is the biggest city ever, where it's more vast than ever before, if they start saying those words, like I'm out, man. I'm so out.
It didn't feel like a city. It felt like a theme park.
Yeah.
It was like you're like wandering around. I'm like, no one lives here. There's no one living in this place.
Dude, it's like, look at this box is bigger than before. It's like, yeah, but it's just a box.
It's this big, yeah. It's just like this giant, flat slab of metal and concrete with a tower in the middle. Like,
yeah,
it felt like a Disneyland almost. Like it does not feel like a real place. Yeah, it just you think about exploring like Night City. I mean, talk about just a place where the city was just like so detailed and so hyper realistic in so many ways.
So cool.
And that's so thought out and like painstakingly built with all these tiny little details that so many people were never going to see. I mean, that's like, that is a city, right? Like that is or even like Novigrad in Witcher 3. I mean, that what felt like a real medieval,
Gutenberg,
like a London or Berlin or something in the 1400s. Like that's what it felt like. The muddy streets and the cats and the people pouring the buckets of stuff into the street, and like people yelling at each other and people carrying big boxes of things in the market stalls, and like it felt like a place where people were living their life.
Yeah, for some reason they don't seem to understand that concept of like how important it is for NPCs to know who your character is. You know what I'm saying?
Or to just not
Like in
just stand
Witcher
around
3.
and be in the same place all the time.
Sure, but at least in The Witcher 3, when you're walking by NPCs, it's like they recognize that you're Geralt, and they know
or
the
at
things
least
that
a
you've
Witcher.
done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
so
love the cats hiss at you.
Yeah, there's small little interactions with the people too. It's like you feel like a person walking through the city, and people actually recognize you. I think God, what game was it? Oh, it's I need to finish it. But Kingdom Come Deliverance is really good about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They
I was gonna say, to add to your cities earlier, Kuttenberg is one that I think that they could take some huge notes from in terms of like making a medieval city that feels like alive and people are in it and it's densely packed and there's so many different little quest lines in there that are just like that only take place in like a building or two,
And every NPC, especially as you start to gain more like what would they call it, more renown or something like that. I forget what it was. But anyways, as you start to become more and more recognized as Henry, that these NPCs actually start to recognize who you are and have prior contexts, with their past interactions with you, and so that kind of guides the conversations. It's like stuff like that where it's like, make me feel like an actual person in this game. It's not even just about just having bigger and more NPCs. It's like, make these NPCs actually know who I am so that it feels like I'm a person in this world.
And the world is actually changing with the events of the game as well, Yeah. I think that's all. I think it's going to be very similar to Skyrim. I think it's going to be a big open world, just like Skyrim. I feel like they're going to respond to Starfield by being like, fine. We'll go back to what you want. And they're just going to kind of I feel like it's going to be very safe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not going to push any boundaries. And I feel like I'm probably going to like it because I think it's just going to be like I'm not going to say it's one of the great games of all time, but I think I'll be like, this is just kind of a BGS game, Yeah. I don't think they're going to change a whole lot. I think maybe they'll surprise us, but I feel like it will be incredibly safe.
Which is why I'm like, all in all, when I think about everything, I've thought about Skyrim, or sorry, not Skyrim, but Starfield for like way more than I ever should have. I just think that it would have been better off if they just didn't make the game. I hate to say that, but like, if you wanted to go that route and play it safe, why did you create a whole new IP? Just make Elder Scrolls 6. I don't know why you even went this route. If you clearly didn't want to put in the type of work that it would take to create an entirely new universe.
Yeah, hindsight being 2020, it is just a really big opportunity cost, that like the time spent developing and really honing it in could have been spent on that. And I think the ideal year for it to have come out, because this is something I've thought of a lot as well. I could think of one game series that was like kind of like a little too late. By the time it came out, it had been way too long and I didn't care enough, was like Kingdom Hearts 3. Like when you start getting to the point where like you're waiting like 15 years between releases, like there just kind of comes a point where I just kind of lose interest a little bit too, like your window should have been like 2018, 2019. I think that like you could have come out and had there been like a lot of excitement for it, but I think that window is every year that goes by without it, is closing,
and they announced it in 2018,
which is crazy, dude.
And then Sam Darnold was drafted the same year they announced Elder Scrolls 6.
Man, I don't get it, and especially when you drop mid games after all that wait, it's like, okay, what is going on over there? I'm really concerned about it.
My expectations are way lower now.
Yeah.
I'm going in, if Starfield, I think Starfield is like the best, the perfect example of like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It is right in the middle. A little good, a little okay, a lot of bad. Just kind of right in the middle. Like if Starfield's a 5, I think Elder Scrolls 6 is probably gonna be like a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skyrim
which is fine with
9,
me. I'll pay for that.
I think you're right though too, Ian. Like I think a lot of the window dressing and lore and world too, like even if it comes out and it's like a good game, like I could still foresee myself really having fun with it because I just love the universe so much, you know.
Yeah, as long as the storyline isn't as horrible as Starfield. Like I just feel like the lore and the environment and the universe is going to prop up even some poor writing, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I think like with the style of game, because I got full disclosure. I mean, I put over 100 hours into Starfield. By the way,
Yeah, I've got a lot of time into Starfield as well. Yeah,
yeah, because I think that style of game and the way that you progress as a character and leveling up, I think they did a good job at that. They always do a good job at that with Bethesda games.
Yeah, the RPG elements in Starfield, I think, were very well handled.
Yeah. So that part of it is like that I can sink in a ton of hours just leveling up a character and customizing and crafting. Like I really enjoy that side of games. And so I think Bethesda's really good at that. So, at the end of the day, like if you're saying it's 2 points above, it goes from a 5 to a 7, like I'll probably play that game a lot because I just love the feel and the pacing of a Bethesda style RPG.
Yeah, you can kind of control the pace and like what you're gonna do next, and I find myself thinking about, like I think I'm gonna go to this place next and try this, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I was gonna see. It's funny. The Xbox time counter does days, so I have to sit there and be like, wait, so 24 times, like I have to like do the math. It doesn't just say like straight up hours like Steam does. I have 104 hours in Starfield.
I think I was at like 30 or something. So
it's still quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'd have to check it out on my Xbox, but I know it's over 100. I think I was like 130 or something like that, but it's a lot, and that's why I'm like, I put in so much, like you were mentioning having to level up just to be able to get advanced levels of base building, which is ridiculous, first of all. Yeah. But then when you actually put in the hours, that was the moment I literally stopped playing, because I remember talking to you about it, and like we were both just complaining a lot. And I was like, I want to kind of get into the base building thing and see what that's like, because I really like the customization of your ship. So I thought maybe they did a good job with that. But yeah, you have to put in a lot of time to level up your base building skill just to be able to get to the higher tiers of designing and customizing, and it's not good at all. There's like maybe 5 different types of buildings that you can build, like that look different. And I'm like, really? I just put in how many hours to get to this point, and there's nothing there. It's very frustrating. It almost feels like this game, this is what I am really afraid of with Bethesda, is it almost feels like maybe a bit calculated with their structure and how they format games, because I think they've gotten really good about creating a game that makes players be engaged just enough to sink in a lot of hours.
Right.
And they've really mastered that.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling you before we got on the show, I was like, or maybe when Taylor got to let its cat out. One of these things. I think it was when Taylor got it. I was just like, I spent an hour in Skyrim or whatever, and I'm over here thinking like I could just restart and play all this again.
Yeah,
right.
And have fun with it.
Yeah,
there's something about it. There's just something about that experience. Like I like the treadmill. I like the treadmill of Elder Scrolls and Fallout a little bit. Like just,
but those games also, they actually had rewards for putting in the hours to doing that and to getting to those higher levels. They felt rewarding. Mm-hmm. Like Starfield, I felt like in every skill tree, in every storyline, everything I did, it was like this build up to nothing. Every
either a letdown or like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I guess that's over. Very like anticlimactic.
For sure.
And then like, and here's some spoilers warning, and we're about done here. But the idea that the end of the story is like, you get to the end of the story and the game's like, you want to start over?
Yeah. No fucking thank you.
You could do it all again.
Yeah.
You're like, I legit. So you get to the end, and it's like New Game Plus, but it's part of the storyline. And I got into this like whatever otherworldly dimension that you're in, where you can decide to like enter into the light and recycle yourself back into that moment in the beginning of the game. And I just took my character and I was like, nope. And I turned around and I walked out and I didn't finish the game. I actually officially have not beaten the main story because I didn't jump into the light at the end. Because I was like, this is dumb. Like, I don't want to do this. I want to just keep playing my character. I don't want to start over and go through the fucking storyline and the stupid dialogue with this idiot who just is going to give some random poor miner his ship and trust him to meet him at some planet. The entire story, all the storylines are like hyper contrived. It's like something that I would have written when I was like 12, and I couldn't figure out how to like write around,
connect the threads,
block. Like how do we get? I have this cool idea that you get a starship. Like, how do I get you into this starship? And instead of being able to like write a cool, believable way of getting onto the starship, like a 12-year-old's like, I'll make a character and the character will just give him the shit. You know?
You're right.
Like, wait, what? So
yeah, nobody ever asked why.
Yeah, it's
pretty surprising.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to play Starfield again. I might launch it and jump through the pool of light to get the achievement for beating.
Yeah,
the
you
game.
might as well, right? Like,
yeah, and congratulations. The reward is that you get a ship that's not even that great. And a spacesuit because you're now
starborn.
That's the reward, and that's New Game Plus, by the way. Which the spacesuit is also gets outscaled pretty early on, so it's also not even that great.
God.
Like it's just like also like. So do you start back in the mines again?
Like it's just like it's like literally a full on reset, like back to the beginning. Well, no, what it does is it shoots you. You go through this thing. And then it shoots you out, and you're like in your new Starborn spacesuit, in your new Starborn ship, out in space. And it's just like New Game Plus, everything's reset, but you're in your new ship now. And this is another thing that bothers me.
The angry spaceman.
This is another thing that bothers me.
You go yell at the other versions of you that haven't figured out.
You go and land in New Atlantis, right, with your new ship and your new spacesuit. Which, by the way, if we're talking about this whole thing reset. In this new universe, nobody's seen a Starborn before, and it's clear. It's very clear what a Starborn is. It's like, this guy's an alien.
Say something to you, like, who the hell are you? Or
yeah, you know what they say?
What?
Like, whoa, I've never seen a ship like that before.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, wow.
And then you walk around town in the spacesuit, and nobody says a word to you. Like, I don't look weird right now? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, if this guy landed in New Atlantis, like, if we're thinking about the universe, right? In his new ship that nobody's ever seen before. It doesn't even have jet engines.
Hyper advanced starship.
Yeah. Lands down. This guy comes out in a suit that you've never seen before. I mean, you're not just going to say, whoa, that's a cool new ship. I've never seen it before. No, you're going to say, you're going to freak out. And, like, the whole city's going to stop for a moment.
Yeah, like the military would come out and,
and
like quarantine
apprehend you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like they just put things into the game, but then didn't care about, like you were talking about, like the threading of it and like how it all puts together. It's just like,
oh, trust me, the DLC story is just as bad.
Oh man, I haven't even touched it.
I did play it because I was like, maybe it'll be good because it's one physical area on one planet, right? It's like a little bit more Bethesda style, but it wasn't good.
Wasn't there two? Didn't they come out with two
just the
DLCs?
One. Just the one.
Just one.
There was a big patch that came out that added like vehicles.
Mm-hmm. The buggy.
Which, like, I mean,
and the vehicle sucks because they didn't design any of their worlds for vehicles, so they're all like all the worlds are covered in these like little rocks. So you're trying to drive your vehicle and you're like, just running into everything.
Tipping it over.
It's like impossible to drive anywhere on any of the planets.
That's why I'm like not too hopeful because it's like I just don't think that they understand. I don't think that they know what's happening and what's wrong with the game.
No, they don't. There's been comments from writers and stuff that they're like, they just don't get it or whatever. Like, no, this just sucks, dude. This sucks. I don't trust me. I get it.
You came out with Starfield in your first big patch was like, let's add a new feature. No, fix the features you have, guys.
The existing ones, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm depressed and pissed now, so I want to go to bed.
Yeah. Right there with you.
I'm going to go play Oblivion and Skyrim and just remember the good old days, I think.
Right.
Yeah, very good write-ins.
Hop into the light to go back to the good old days.
Yeah, true enough.
Reset.
Thank you all again. The write-ins are amazing. Really appreciate all the time you're taking, and we love to see the enthusiasm and how much you guys care about all this stuff, just like we do. It's super cool, and it makes me want to do the show even more.
Yeah, you guys make this really worth it, to be honest.
I know, it's crazy.
This is really cool.
Great write-ins.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome.
Sometimes it feels like you guys like being a part of this more than we do. So really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. It's like, as soon as I start, sometimes I'm a little tired. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I have it in me tonight. And then we start and it's like, oh, it's 9:30.
Right. Yeah. Not to say that I don't enjoy it. I really enjoy being here. I'm just like, it's just nice to like have a community that's just as involved as it feels like I am. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah. I love that. And hopefully we'll work on growing that community. Taylor and I are going to get together next week and start working on how to work out some of the, I got to figure out all the logins for everything and get some social meds happening.
Yeah, additional content stuff too.
Social meds. I think that's an Aliciaism. Isn't it? Doesn't that sound like an Alicia thing?
It reminds me of one of my favorite, it's not that good of a story, but the Beowulf animated film.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. There's a scene where like the king is like, he needs to refill his cup and he's just like yelling at his servant and he just goes, mead. Mead. I don't know why. It's just like stuck in my brain. Anyways.
Grendel's mother.
Yeah, and
social
then like this like
meads.
Like this weak, like kind of like borderline crippled servant comes out and he's like spilling it everywhere and it's just like so it's such an iconic scene in my brain. It's so
They
hilarious.
couldn't find anyone else a little bit more qualified to carry the liquid.
He's spilling all over everywhere and like I can't remember who says it, but like one of the guys is like, you're spilling. You're spilling.
What the fuck?
It's so funny to me.
You're spilling.
I want to watch this with you now.
Oh man, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that.
I don't know why it became one of those movies that like I always watched, when I was going to bed.
Yeah.
It's just like, how like some of those movies just kind of become that like comfort zone for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Beowulf was definitely that for me.
That's hilarious.
The sounds of Grendel screaming and throwing guys, you're just falling asleep to it.
Well, I usually fell asleep before it got to that point. Yeah. Sometimes I would wake up to that in the middle of the night, like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, man. Well, I'd like to watch that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a fun little animated film. It's not great, but it's good.
That's okay. It sounds funny, so that's what matters. All right, everybody. Well, that was a little extra episode there, a little extra 20 minutes or so than our normal length. I figured Bethesda would take a little more time. Big topic. So thank you again for all the write-ins. We're super excited for next week. We'll announce our topic on, I don't know, Sunday or Monday, probably Monday. We're ahead of the game on that now. So finally we caught up with that. So.
We got them locked and loaded, baby.
So keep
they're
your
in the
eyes
chamber.
Peeled. Yep, they're in the chamber. Keep your eyes peeled on our Discord. We'll get that up, and we'll be excited to see everyone's write-ins for the next topic. But until then, have a great, safe weekend. If you're a football fan, enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah, best of luck, Ian.
Yeah,
and Kyle.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's starting to set in. Like, I'm starting to get a little nervous.
I'll be rooting for him. I'll be there.
So much on the line. All right, everybody. Have a great, safe weekend, and we will catch you later.
See you guys. Stay safe.
Later.